So I was going to move on to sort of talk about rates of infections in school-age children, which have been like ridiculously high. And for some educators, we know some people are more at risk from contracting or catching COVID, yet we're going in daily to poorly ventilated, overcrowded rooms, and in primary school, particularly with unvaccinated children. And I can tell you that's scary. It's really, really scary. But as educators, we're doing that every single day with a smile on our face, because we can't let the children see that fear or know that fear. You know, we've gone above and beyond all the way through this crisis, but it has had an impact on us as a workforce. We've done it because we care, but honestly, turning up to work every day, personally fearful, but still delivering that care and that comfort and the best education that we possibly can, I can tell you is absolutely exhausting. I know many of my colleagues, many people that I know that work in education have made massive sacrifices through this crisis, whether they've been more at risk of COVID or not. You know, they've made sacrifices such as not visiting relatives that they know are more at risk, because we know that working in education, you're more likely to have COVID. The Office of National Statistics data proves that. I've seen people, you know, I cannot count the amount of colleagues that I've had that have got that positive LFT test just on the last day of term. So that's it, there's their break done, there's the time that they would be spending with their families gone. I know colleagues that have had to miss funerals and such because of contracting COVID through their work. And in some cases, you know, we've watched it go through classes, through whole schools, through colleges and through the communities that they serve. And in some cases, that's been with absolutely catastrophic impacts. Staff are absolutely exhausted and absolutely demoralised by what we've been through this crisis. And I know loads that are seriously considering leaving the workforce. And while we've dealt with all of that, we've still got all of the other pressures of education there. You know, we've still got Ofsted looming over us with all the extra work that brings and the pressure that brings. And school budgets, you know, we've just mentioned that briefly, but school budgets were absolutely on their knees before COVID. And then we've got all those extra costs to have to deal with. I know colleagues that have been recently told, avoid using the photocopier or you may be made redundant. Now, for staff that have gone above and beyond and put themselves at risk all the way through this crisis, to then be told, well, actually, your job's not really secure, that's just yet another kick in the teeth, really. And not only is your job not secure, you know, my pay is worth less and less year on year as the cost of living increases and our pay stood still. And we all know that that is going to get much worse very soon. I'm a teacher. I'm on the top of my pay scale. I work 4 days a week because I dropped today to try and get some work-life balance. I've got 3 teenagers that still live at home. And I can tell you, I am seriously struggling to make ends meet at the moment. I'm already making serious choices about heating and eating. I haven't had a holiday for years. I don't have a big house or a fancy car. I'm genuinely counting the pennies at the end of every month, and I'm dreading something like the car breaking or the boiler going, because I honestly don't know how I'm going to afford that. I've seen my pay lose 17% in real terms over the last 10 years, and I've found it increasingly difficult to provide what I need to for my own children, whilst I'm working so hard to provide that good quality education for other children under such intense pressure. That is tough. This government have ignored education for far too long, which is why it's essential that we've got your support now. And I'm really, really grateful for that. I'm grateful to everybody on this call now. I want to say thank you to everybody that signed the letter that's already gone out to ask for more measures to stop the spread of Omicron through our schools. But we need to continue to put pressure onto government to ensure that schools and colleges are properly supported to come out of this pandemic. So we as the Councillors Network have drafted a model motion, and I would hope that a lot of councillors would take that to make the case for this in your area. And for all the governors on the call as well, it's really important that you start to open some conversations around workload, around stress and around pay in your school. I know, like from my experience of being on the governing body at the school that I work with, how influential you can be as governors, and we've produced some documents that will help keep you informed about how to approach some of these issues with the staff body in your schools. But listen to them, try and listen to them, hear them and understand their concerns. So yeah, thank you to everybody for joining us this evening, and thank you for everyone for listening, and I look forward to hearing the rest of the panel and taking any questions, and thank you for letting me finish, Daniel.